We call it people technology.
1-3-4 then for the Super Kings in their final outing with the bat in the league stage of IPL 2021. This is Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket Foot T20 Timeout. One-man show for the Super Kings in Faf du Plessis scored more than half their runs. One-man show here as well because Gautam Gambhir and me are by ourselves now. Everyone else has run away, no problem. Gautam and me will have some fun dissecting
Yeah.
CSK's batting and just Faf du Plessis and nothing more. That seems to be the story for the Super Kings, Gautam. If their openers don't fire, they struggle.
Yeah, apart from Ravindra Jadeja and to certain extent Ambati Rayudu,
Hmm.
they've been a very top heavy team, and that's where the vulnerability is, and that is what we spoke about in the pre-show as well. That if you can get the openers cheaply, there is huge vulnerability because if you see number three Moin Ali, yes, he's got runs, but he's got runs in patches. He hasn't been very consistent. Number four, they're not certain whether to go with Robin Uthappa or Suresh Raina, and Robin's got two opportunities, hasn't capitalized on that. Ambati Raidu is in some decent kind of form. He can actually still score runs. Number six, MS Dhoni, is not at all in good form. And then you've got Ravindra Jadeja, probably in the best of forms with the bat. So, yes, there is vulnerability, plus there are opportunity as well.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of things I want to break down with you from this innings. Firstly, let's get an idea of the score. 1-3-4. Did it look like a tackier pitch or a two-pace sort of surface? Is this still a competitive score or are they still below par?
Everything can't be a tacky wicket. Sometimes you got to give it to sometimes you got to give it to the bowlers as well.
Yeah,
What happens is that we are so thankless to the bowlers that if
yeah.
there is a low score, we start talking about the wicket.
Hmm.
Suddenly we start talking whether this is the best wicket to bat or whether this should be the wicket or not. Sometimes bowlers are there to perform as well, and they can also perform well. So if Mohammad Shami bowled an unbelievable first spell, where he gave
Yeah.
what 6 runs in the first 3 overs, and at the same time Ashdeep was brilliant, Chris Jordan was brilliant till the last 1 or 2 overs, where they went for a lot of runs or 3 or 4 overs. But sometimes you got to just say that bowlers
Hmm.
were much better and bowlers have performed, rather than talking too much about the wicket. And you should never judge the wicket till the time both the teams have batted on it. Let's see probably after this game once Punjab Kings finishes the batting.
Yeah, absolutely fair. So let's talk about Faf du Plessis. He holds the orange cap as a result of that 76, Gotti. He leads the batting scoring charts from the overseas batters. I mean, how many people are given Faf du Plessis the title of the orange cap holder or the most successful overseas batter before IPL 2021? Some consistency from the former South African captain. What do you owe his success down to? How come he's been such a revelation for CSK this season?
Probably just the kind of form he was in CPL, and guys who've come playing some kind of a league into the IPL, because the IPL is such a tournament. If you don't need cricket, you'll definitely struggle because the quality of cricket is probably at its best. And CPL, even if the quality of cricket is not as compared to what you get at IPL, but runs under your belt is always very important. And experience is very important as well. There is no alternate or no substitute to experience. And I'm sure with experience, Faf knows that if he's in good form, he has to make the most of it, because as a batter, once you lose it, it's very difficult to get it back. Look what is happening with Dan Christian, or for example, Owen Morgan. When you don't
Yeah.
score runs, you don't know where to score, where the next run's going to come. But when you're scoring runs, make the most of it, and that is what good, intelligent, and experienced batters do.
Has he exceeded expectations for you? This was the first year he went without Shane Watson, who you thought was the aggressor there, and Faf du Plessis played a different role here. He was batting with the Ruturaj Gaikwad initially out of form. Has he exceeded all expectations for you, Faf du Plessis, this season?
Honestly, if you ask me, yes, he has,
Hmm.
because I never thought that he was that dangerous T20 batter. Yes, he's got runs for CSK, but he's never had the kind of impact what Shane Watson had or some of the other guys had. Yes, he was there. He will get a 50 or 40 balls. He will score those runs, but he cannot hurt the opposition or the bowlers. He's not someone who's going to be an all-out, all-out match winner like how Shane Watson was. If Shane Watson gets runs, he'll get 100 of a 60 deliveries.
Yeah.
But then yes, he has probably exceeded all the expectations, not only of mine but a lot of other people as well.
Yeah, outstanding Faf du Plessis. He's had Ruturaj Gaikwad in runs for a large part of this UAE leg. The last two innings, though, got and we've been discussing. We broke down the numbers in that game against Delhi on our show too of how few short balls have been bowled to Ruturaj Gaikwad. Suddenly, he's got two wickets of two short deliveries. You can expect a lot more now, can't he?
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong in it.
Hmm.
See, I have a very different take to this. In fact, a lot of people have asked me this question. In fact, even when I was playing, that suddenly, if a batter gets out to a short ball,
Hmm.
people start talking about it, whether he should leave that ball, whether he should just duck that ball. You get out 6 times or 7 times, cover driving the ball, no one even talks about it.
Hmm.
No one even says a word about it. No one tells you to stop playing a cover drive. But suddenly a batter gets out to a short ball and you start talking that is there a weakness there?
Hmm.
Don't don't stop playing something. Just get better at it. How
Yeah.
many shots can you stop playing then? If you end up playing a cover drive and you nick one to slip or a keeper, will you stop playing a cover drive? If you if you if you go across the line, if you get LBW, will you stop playing that flick shot? So
Hmm.
that's not the way to approach your batting. Yes, he's got out twice of a short ball, but you got to realize that Andrew Nokia is express.
Yeah.
Today was a good short ball. Yes, there could be a weakness, but let's not put him in his head. Let him get better at it, and I hope the coaches will not tell him not to play this shot, because this exactly has happened with me. That in my initial career, I got out twice or thrice, or in fact 4 times in my international career playing that short ball. I remember twice I got out in Pakistan, and there were everyone telling me stop playing that short ball. Why do I have to play that short ball? Just duck into it. And then I realized when I got back, I said that I don't need to stop playing. I need to just get better at it. If I can't get better at it, then I need to work even harder. But how many shots can I stop playing? There will be a day when I'll get out to a other shot as well. I can't stop playing that shot either. So probably it's too early for us to talk about whether there's a weakness or not. But I'm sure he's got to work on it, and he should work on it.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I guess the question is, from what you've observed of his game, does he strike you as a batter who has the game to play successfully off the back foot? He will obviously be challenged more of the short ball. You see in his game no issues with the short ball right
I,
now, right?
I don't see
Yeah.
that. And to be very honest, it's a T20 format. You have to
Hmm.
take on the short ball, irrespective of at what height it is, because you're looking to attack. In
Yeah.
50 overs cricket, you can still let go of one if you feel that it's too wide or it's too high and stuff, but not in T20 cricket. Your first instinct as a batter is to take on everything. And you're looking to take on everything, then you do get committed into a shot, and there is nothing wrong in it because you only have 120 events. You don't have 300 deliveries or probably the whole day, like how in Test cricket you say probably just first couple of hours you just end up giving it to the bowler. Once the ball gets soft, you can take on the short ball and stuff. But that's not the luxury what a batter has in T20 cricket.
Hmm. Okay, let's go further down, right? Discuss Fab, discuss Ruturaj Gaikwad. Moeen Ali was such an important, he was a small but significant change CSK made in the first leg of the IPL, Gautam. Since the UAE leg, though, seems to have lost his batting mojo a bit.
Yeah, but he is that kind of a cricketer as well. He is a lot with hand and eye coordination. He's not someone who's technically the best in the world, or he's got that game where he can actually play that second field as well. He needs those boundaries to get that confidence back. He needs those. He needs to feel the ball on his bat, and he needs those punches and stuff. If you start bowling well to him, if you can, and brilliant plans today as well.
Hmm.
Straight away, Shami bowled that bouncer, and he started feeling uncomfortable. And that is how you bowl. And that is why I say that sometimes you got to appreciate the bowler as well. And yes, he has lost that touch, but with players like Moin Ali, it just needs that one shot of the front foot or of the back foot to get him back into that confidence or in that mood.
Hmm. All right. What about that middle then? That middle order. We were wondering last after the last game whether Dhoni was just coming out for a bit of a knock, play some balls. It now looks like he has decided he will bat ahead of Ravindra Jadeja. Is that wise for you?
I hope so that he keeps batting before Ravindra Jadeja. But
Okay.
at the current form, I think Jadeja needs to come before MS Dhoni because he's in far better form than MS Dhoni at the moment. And if you see the stats as well, I don't know how many runs has he got in this season. I'm not sure. I'm not a stats guy and I don't believe in too much. But then he has looked uncomfortable, whether it's against spin or against pace, whether it's against the short ball or against the wrist spinners as well, which has been a surprise because sometimes what happens is that when you don't play international cricket and when you haven't played any competitive cricket, at least you're comfortable against spin, but he hasn't looked that comfortable against wrist spin either. So probably yes, going forward, I'm not sure whether he's going to bat ahead of Ravindra Jadeja. You will have to wait and watch because come the playoffs, you might see Ravindra Jadeja batting ahead of MS Dhoni.
Now, I know you said at some point before the tournament or before the second leg that you'll see Dhoni's role more as captain and leader and keeper more than the batter. And you could say there's no shame in that at this stage of his career. Would it be such a bad thing if if Dhoni just keeps pushing himself down, says this team bats deep. Dwayne Bravo has hardly had a bat. Shardul Thakur can bat. He hardly gets a bat. Deepak Chahar can bat. Looking at situations, would you think it's such a bad thing for Dhoni to push himself down, or
And
would you still
that's
like to see him come up?
See, that's up to him to decide. I can't talk
Hmm.
from his point of view and the franchise's point of view, what they think of him and what he thinks of himself. That he wants to see himself as a keeper and a mentor and a captain. Probably then he can. If he still feels that he can contribute and he can actually win you a game, then he should be batting at number 5 or number 6, because you can't win a game batting at number 8 or number 9. Yes,
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to fight your way through, even if you're not in the best of form. I actually literally thought that even in the last game, where obviously he struggled a bit, but I was actually happy that he was able to spend 27, 28 deliveries in the middle against a quality attack like Delhi. So
Hmm.
I felt that that would have given him a lot of confidence. And probably that's the reason why we saw that shot over extra cover as well of Ravi Bishnoi, which was a fabulous shot, no doubt about it. But then again, the struggle is there. Obviously, he's struggling for form because he hasn't played any cricket. To get into a tournament like an IPL with this kind of a quality, you can't just be playing in the nets or hitting those big shots in the nets, because match situation and net situations are very different. So
Hmm.
let's if you have to wait and watch, because I've always been a believer that if MS needs to contribute, if MS needs to lead from the front, he has to bat probably at number 5 or number 6. But you never know with him. You might just see Ravindra Jadeja or Dwayne Bravo or MS Dhoni. I don't know. It's very unclear, and we will have to see what happens in the playoffs.
Hmm. Okay. Now, that is almost out in the middle between Rahul and Mayank Agarwal. You know how they bat. 130, that sort of score, you're not quite sure what pace to go at. Now, if you look at the calculations, it's unlikely. If they get it in 10 overs or so, is their best chance of getting it above, getting the net run rate above KKR. So, what's your approach as Punjab now? Just go for the win, go helter skelter, and try and gun this down in 10, 11 overs. Gautam, is that at all something they can think of?
If they can go ahead of KKR, they must go.
Hmm.
Don't even think about it. Just go for it, because strange things have happened. Imagine if Rajasthan Royals defeat KKR and if Mumbai loses to SRH, you can
Yeah.
sneak in. Just go for it. You've got nothing to lose. What will happen? Even if you lose a game today, anyways, practically, it's very difficult. Even if you don't win the game today, you're anyways out. And if you don't win in 11 overs, you anyways are out of the competition. You still have something to
Hmm.
play for. I would definitely would have told them to just go for it and go as berserk as they can.
Yeah, yeah. The calculations as they are now, if even if they get it in 10, 11 overs, they then need KKR to lose by about a 50-run margin. So that's still possible, right? If they want to go up above KKR, they want to win this in 17 balls. That's not going to happen, but it's still likely that if KKR have a 50-run defeat, it still gives them some hope. So let's see if that is the approach from KL Rahul. Gautam Gambhir will pick up the chat at the end of the game and we'll build up to that massive game between KKR and Rajasthan on Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 timer. Thank you, Gautam. Get your
Cheers.
thoughts then, and do join us as we build up to match 54. It should be an absolute cracker, and this result will also give us an indication of where Punjab stand in the scheme of things.
We call it people technology.